Yo, what's up guys, it's ApTreX here. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the brand new version of the Sumi Nintendo Switch emulator for Android devices, which brings lots of improvements, bug fixes and new features. Well, before getting started, if you guys didn't already know, Sumi is one of the newest Nintendo Switch emulator for Android devices, which is capable of emulating many titles such as The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and a lot more. To get started, Sumi is completely open source and it is basically the combination of Citron as well as Sudachi emulator with own personal improvements and touches that have been added by the developer of this emulator. Now the newest version of Sumi emulator was released about 2 days ago. You guys can see the changelog Sumi emulator Vulkan API upgrade from 1.1 to 1.3/4. SPIRV version 1.6 has been added. Memory management issues have been fixed. You can rate this will fix thermal throttling and soft clock in many games, which means freezing issue in many games, especially Mario Kart. In this update, memory leaks have been fixed in big demanding games like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. We'll be testing out Tears of the Kingdom in today's video. We also have intelligent frame limiting. It will detect whether if the game should work in 30 FPS or 60 FPS and limit its frame limit. With the help of this technology, it will be way more advanced after frame pacing. Along with that, in the nearest future, thermal throttling issues will be fixed. So there is a lot more to look forward to in the upcoming future of Sumi emulator. The developer has recommended you to use the latest Mesa Turnip Adreno driver 25 series if you have a Snapdragon processor, and for Snapdragon 8 Elite, the developers will be working on a custom graphics driver. As you guys can see, there are no proper drivers for 8 Elite, but we are trying our best. So we started our internal project to provide emulation drivers for Snapdragon 8 Elite, and here we have a screenshot of Zelda Breath of the Wild running with graphical enhancement at 45+ FPS. I would recommend you guys to freshly add this emulator. If you are using previous versions of Sumi emulator, remove them and make sure to add the newer version. With that being said, let's start setting up this emulator. Tap on agree and continue. Afterwards, tap on next, tap on next again, tap on skip, and start importing all the necessary stuff that is required to run a Nintendo Switch emulator. And now that all of that is out of the way, we can start trying out this emulator. So first of all, we'll tap on settings, and once again, unfortunately, this emulator is not supported for Snapdragon 8 Elite. So whenever you tap on the settings option, you guys can see our emulator just crashes. This is because it is a fork version of Sudachi emulator. This crashing issue does not happen in Eden emulator or even Citron emulator. It only happens in Sudachi emulator. So we'll switch to our tablet. Alright guys, let's start with the best settings. Now we'll go to emulation settings. Afterwards, you guys can see a brand new emulation setting has been added inside the Sumi emulator. So we have the intelligent performance mode, which we can keep it at moderate or performance. I recommend you guys to set it to performance. VSync mode will set it to mailbox. Afterwards, scroll down, enable disk shader cache, post maximum clocks and asynchronous shaders. Once that has been done, we'll go to system, and here we can see the device name has been changed. Dock mode has been disabled. Afterwards, we'll enable use demo settings, test new experimental experience, but unfortunately it seems that this toggle is not working for now, so it might be getting added in the next version of Sumi emulator. In terms of limit speed percentage, we'll set it to 500%. Afterwards, go back, go to graphics, accuracy level we'll set it to high, which is selected by default. In terms of resolution scaling, we'll set it to 0.75x, and we can go all the way down to 0.25x, which is very impressive. In terms of aspect ratio, we'll select stretch to window, and yeah, that's about it. In terms of debug settings, everything else can be kept as default. And yeah guys, basically the emulation category has some of the graphics settings. I think the developers have tried to rearrange the settings, which is a great thing. I'm not complaining. In terms of applet launcher, we still do not have the Q launch feature, but maybe it will be releasing in the newer updates of Sumi emulator. As I mentioned before, this is a fork version of Citron emulator, so we also have the multiplayer feature where you can join or create a room. Multiplayer support is really amazing. But once we have applied all the best settings, let's start out by testing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and immediately you guys will be able to see the FPS at the top left corner. We are getting about 30 FPS, 100 FPS, so the FPS is all over the place. Let's find out how well does our game actually work. And towards the right side, you have the CPU temperature as well, which is just 29 degrees Celsius at the moment. Now you guys can see our Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has successfully started, and we are getting really amazing 80+ FPS. Just take a look at this. This is really unexpected. And by the way, this is the benchmark version of the Sumi emulator, and you will be able to see a lot of graphical issues. That's because I forgot to add the custom graphics driver. So we'll just go ahead and exit emulation. Afterwards we'll go to settings and here we'll add a custom graphics driver. For today's video we'll be using the Mesa Turnip Adreno driver 25.2.0 revision 6. So once you guys have successfully imported it, make sure to select it. Afterwards we'll go back and try out Zelda Tears of the Kingdom once again. And here we go, our game has started. Let's tap on the continue button and load our save state. So immediately you guys will be able to see most of the graphical issues have been fixed and we are getting good amount of performance compared to previously. So definitely make sure to use custom graphics driver inside the Sumi emulator if you want to fix all the graphical issues, and the performance which we are getting is actually really impressive. This tablet has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. 8 Gen 2 is flagship, but still compared to 8 Elite this is nothing. 8 Elite destroys Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. I think it has almost 2 to 3 times performance than that of 8 Gen 2. So I can't even imagine what we will get in terms of performance on Snapdragon 8 Elite once the Sumi emulator developers have finally worked for a fix for Snapdragon 8 Elite. Anyways, let's just go ahead and move on towards our next game, which is going to be Pokemon Sword. Now that I have imported the save file, we'll just go ahead and go back and make sure to start this game. Now to be honest guys, I am actually very impressed by the performance which we are getting inside the Sumi emulator. So far it's very impressive with the 0.75x resolution and a very stable gameplay experience. Do let me know in the comment section down below if I should test out this emulator on my low-end Android devices and even my MediaTek processor Android device. But let's travel to Meetup Spot because it has a really awesome open world area, and here we can take a look at the performance which we are getting after applying the graphics driver. Inside the Sumi emulator we are getting about 57 to 60 FPS while emulating Pokemon Sword on our Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor Android device. And honestly, after so many improvements in terms of processor, you can consider a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 to middle to high-end processor Android device. It's not completely high-end anymore because actual high-end devices perform way better than this. So yeah guys, that was all about Sumi emulator. I am very excited and honestly this emulator is pretty stable and you should definitely try it out. That's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.